Good morning.
Good morning, Blue Ridge.
Welcome to week 2.
Week 2, only 8 weeks left in the quarter. Today is Monday, August 17th. 8 weeks left, that's what I said, folks. How many weeks?
8.
Last week felt like
4
many
weeks.
Yes.
Every day was a Monday last week.
It did
Woo!
feel like many weeks.
We survived.
It was a lot of days every day.
Right.
It was something else.
So this week, students, you guys can expect to start working on some curriculum. We're still gonna be working out some kinks this week in all the technology, but we are gonna start getting to it.
And I know some of the teachers offered a little bit of that last week just to kind of get you started. And we'll be adding to it as we go.
Right.
If this is your first week getting going, we're still going to be super patient. So just get started. That's what you got to do, is get started. And we're going to have a special guest later this week. I think it'll be this week.
Good.
And he's going to give you some tips on how to organize yourself. And it is our own 8th grade student, Jack W.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
He's a super organized person.
He is, and he has some tips on how to use a calendar to manage your time and organize yourself so that you can be really effective in your scheduling and getting your work done. So he's working on putting some stuff together and is hopefully going to do a little drop by and show us some of his tips on how to use. Although you don't have your planner, he's going to give you some tips on how you could use any calendar to plan effectively for this first quarter. We're excited about that. The distance learning tip of the day, we talked last week about those Zoom mics. Make sure that if it's not your turn to be chatting, that you might want to have that turned off. We're all working out learning how to do that. And there is a way to put your name. Do we need to talk about that? Like if you're on a Zoom call, do you have to put your name every time? Or
there are some ways. The teachers were working on it last week with trying to get that figured out with the students, and we're still trying to figure out the best solution for that.
Right.
But it does, if you do have the option of putting your name in, I know some students started with their user ID number, which makes sense. But if you have the option of putting in your name, we want your first and last name for all of your Zoom calls, if we have that option, so the teachers know who is in their room.
Or first name and last initial, something,
right.
But don't be too clever or come up with a creative name, because we really want to know who
We don't need
you are.
your video game handle.
Right, and those we actually will most likely just remove from the meeting. So if we don't know who is in there, we won't be letting them in.
Right. And the Zoom meetings are in a secure platform with just other students, so it's an okay place to put your first name. It's different than like a room where you wouldn't know the safety protocols. So we do want you to feel comfortable doing that, but we need to know that it's students that are in there. We don't want to be having some unique, too creative name that we can't identify who it really is. Okay. The distance learning tip of the day beyond that is to turn off the other media in your house. And so this isn't just about you, but we're asking your entire family to support the learning going on, and any other screens, tablets, phone, TVs, if they could be turned off, at least in the area where the school area has been set up. Remember we talked last week about setting up an area that's just for your school time. And if you can turn off that movie or the season of whatever you're binge watching, shut those extra things off so that you can be really focused on your learning. And then when you are done with your learning, then the other parts of your house and those other screens can be part of your home time and your recreational time. So if anyone in the house, if we can remove distractions by turning off those extra screens, that would be very helpful. I also want to share this quote from Margaret Wheatley, and this is for a social emotional quote. It says, "It is possible to prepare for the future without knowing what it will be. The primary way to prepare for the unknown is to attend to the quality of our relationships, to how well we know and trust one another." So good stuff, and we're working our best to do that. Trust in relationships, yes. Any reviews, books, movies from you all?
I think you have one.
I do have one. One of my favorite books is Roald Dahl's book, The Twits. Do you know it?
Mr. and Mrs. Twit.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing characters.
They are amazing characters. And they are married and they don't really like each other. So they prank each other the whole book. It's kind of mean-spirited, but really funny.
But it's a good read.
It is a good read. But this quote I love, it says, "If a person has ugly thoughts, it begins to show on the face. And when that person has ugly thoughts every day, every week, every year, the face gets uglier and uglier until it gets so ugly you can hardly bear to look at it. A person who has good thoughts cannot ever be ugly. You can have a wonky nose and a crooked mouth and a double chin and stick out teeth, but if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams and you will always look lovely.
Right.
Good stuff. Our winner for guessing the spotlight was Josie B. She was our first guess, and it was Mr. Brownkey, who would like to be able to teleport. That would be his superpower. We are sending her a book. She picked the book you spotlighted.
Excellent.
So it's in the mail.
Good.
And later this week, we are going to learn more things about Mr. Brownkey and maybe even have him stop by for one of our morning announcements. Shout out to cats. It is Cat Appreciation Day.
Oh my gosh, I love cats so much.
You just needed a reason to go home and spoil your cat.
I love my cat.
Yes. Well, now you can make it all about what's your cat's name?
Kiska.
Kiska?
Kiska.
Kiska is going to have a lovely evening.
Wow.
Kiska has a lovely evening every evening.
She has a beautiful life.
She does. She's a lucky cat.
We also want to thank the Halls. They delivered us a wonderful basket full of treats.
Thank you very much.
And I'm not saying delivering a basket full of treats is something everyone needs to do. I'm not saying that. I'm not
Sure
saying,
brightened our first day,
I'm
my
not
gosh.
saying we need treats and goodies. I would have never thought how wonderful it would make us feel though. And it did. It was very special.
Miss Montoya is going to come to work with gold toenails.
Yes, we all are going to paint her. There was gold toenail polish and, polish.
Polish, yeah.
So
Good.
we're all going to have matching toenails.
There
From
we
a
go.
distance, we'll paint our
And we'll
toes.
dedicate it to the halls.
Yes, to the Halls. Thank you for
You guys
keeping
are
our
awesome.
toes
Thank
looking
you.
good. All right, we will close with the pledge and we will see you guys Tuesday morning.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.